Can you name them?
Damn, I gotta name them.
If you gotta listen,
Yeah, but I'm not gonna name nobody. Let's go, mate. Let's drink these shots, bruv.
What's up, everyone, and we are back with another episode of The Raw Lens with your host, Lionheart. It's the show that reveals what goes on behind the scenes of entrepreneurs and their day-to-day life. Today, we have a very special and well-known guest, Mr. Avi Benjamin. A loving father of four, grandson of well-known singer, poet, and composer Ilyas Malive, whose folklore spread throughout over 30 million people in Central Asia. He is here today to give us an insight into his perspective of what we don't see behind the scenes as an inspiring singer, rapper, cantor, as well as a master barber. Avi, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate you, bro.
Glad to have you here. So we all know that your family has a musical background and it runs in the family. How did you discover your voice? When did you recall making your first piece of music?
My grandfather would have tons of people at his house. They would sit down on the floor on the carpet and everybody would take out musical instruments and play. And all the kids would be in the room playing, but I'd really be interested because these are they're jamming. So I was there and I would start humming to the tunes. My mom would be like, listen, do that again? Do it again?
Yeah?
Yeah, so they kind of knew.
So you started at what age?
I was 4 or 5 years old.
4 or 5 years old?
Yeah, I mean, as soon as I could kind of get myself together to understand what they're doing, I'm like, wow, this is cool.
So besides singing, do you play any instruments of some sort?
I play on people's nerves. I'm good. I'm very, very good. I dabble. I could play the flute a little bit. I could play the sax a little bit, the clarinet a little bit. When I say a little bit, I dabble. Drums, and I guess I would say I love playing instruments, and I really, really wish I could, but...
You basically are a jack of all trades of instruments. If you could, musically hear it, you could play it.
How does that saying go? It goes is a jack of all trades, master at none, but sometimes better than the master at one.
Yeah. Aside from your musical background, when and how did you get into barbering?
Dude, there's the funniest story in the world, I swear.
Please share.
So, for my bar mitzvah, hanging out with friends on 108th Street, and, obviously a lot of fights, and it was kind of cool to be out there, but your parents didn't think it was cool. It was cool to be out there, and everybody was working. I noticed a lot of people were starting to go to barber school, and I'm like, I really want to learn how to cut hair. Everybody's doing it. I don't think it was at that time people were like, you sure you want to be a barber? I'm like, yeah, I want to be a barber. I ended up dropping out of school to becoming a barber, and I'll be honest, I opened up a barber shop when I was 16 years old. I was still in high school in Francis Lewis. I opened up a barber shop right across the street, and I had clients mid-periods.
Wow, at 16?
Yeah.
Damn! That's a pretty good accomplishment at 16.
Don't ask how I got the cheddar to do that.
We also know that you operated a restaurant called Kosher Boys.
Oh man. Very hard business.
No shit.
Very hard.
Extremely hard business. I mean, good things came out of it. I own food trucks because of it. But we opened up maybe a few months before COVID. We were killing it in the beginning because it was a new popped up spot in the neighborhood. So it got some shine. And then after COVID, it was Prohibition era. I had to hide banquet parties in the basement. I created a whole... It was insane. People were throwing private parties during COVID. I felt like I was the restaurant drug dealer. You know what I'm saying? You want to have a party? I got you. Come on. I have 2 food trucks in Florida.
In Florida, huh? You have any here?
No, I got rid of them here. The weather is not so friendly.
I see. But whatever happens to that restaurant business? It was right next door to your barbershop, right?
It was directly upstairs from my barbershop. They used to be the landlord, and I'm like, listen, I'm not about to just have another landlord sublet the place to me. I'm like, I'm going to try this restaurant out. I had some money. And I'll be very honest with you. Whoever is in the restaurant business, they have a saying in Hebrew. You want to curse somebody, give them a restaurant. Restaurant is not for everybody.
It's not for the weak.
It's not for everybody at all.
So what we see on the Gordon Ramsay shows, it happens like that, right?
Dude, I mean, those are chef lines. I wouldn't say we had a chef line, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but it's pretty brutal.
It's brutal, bro.
Especially with all the, customers coming in.
I think it comes down to employees, health department.
It's a lot of work.
If you're not there, it's not going to work.
We all know that you're a wedding singer, host, and cantor. What's the most challenging aspect about being a singer, cantor?
You get butterflies in your stomach when you go up. In the beginning, I would say everybody who goes up to sing anywhere, they feel a little bit nervous. You really love it, you won't feel that way. Every time I get up on stage, in the beginning I get a little bit of butterflies, but then I'm like, I love this so much, they wouldn't understand I would be ready to do it for free.
In the beginning, yeah, you get nervous, but then you get used to it.
For sure, of course you get used to it. This is home. A day without music for me, whether it be in the studio or being at work, it'd be depressing without music.
Do you spend a lot of time in your studio?
I spend a lot of time in my studio. Whether it's just, passing time with my friends or creating some type of content or just going inside the studio to be able to create something, even if I didn't put it out yet. But to be able to express, it's like, it's an endorphin. I have to let it out. This is something, I can't explain to you. I know that there's a big rabbi, his name is the Vilna Gaon. He said if there was no Torah, I would only do music. Music is not something you could possibly explain.
It's an expression of a soul,
It's insanity.
And I'm a big fan of your music videos.
I appreciate you. Well, you shot them. You're funny. You're a funny guy, right? You're a funny guy.
But like some of them are, they tell a story, and I like that. You have a creative vision of just explaining a story to people with your music.
I appreciate it. Usually it really takes the cameraman to be able to deliver that story. I can tell you what the story is going to be like, but if you don't take the right shots,
exactly, it's all about the right angles, the right shots.
We got to be in the raw lens.
If you choose between barbering or singing to do for the rest of your life, what would you choose?
I would stop cutting hair tomorrow. Listen, I'm cutting hair for close to 17, 18 years.
Woo.
Yeah, I'm doing it since before my bar mitzvah. I'm very grateful for it because you can make a lot of money cutting hair, but then you have to dedicate a lot of time, and all barbers know this. If you're not at the shop, you're not making chicken.
What about if you just, hire workers to work for you?
No, there's no such thing. You know why? Because you can't blame your employees for wanting to work and open up their own spot. Everybody wants to be a boss. Nobody wants to be
I get it. Commission, 50-50, all that.
I'll be honest with you, at one point I had 5-6 barbers working for me in my shop, and I even allowed people to rent the chair because I understood. I'm like, listen, the guy's going to grow. You're going to stop him from growing? Like, let him rent the chair. He'll be a boss here and let him rock out. But I don't blame people. People today open up private studios. They kill it. Like I have one on 47th Street. It's entertaining. The people are funny. Shout out to everybody who's on 47th Street. You guys are interesting characters. I love the majority of you.
Have you ever had to step in to save a wedding moment with your music?
Dude, I'm going to tell you something retarded.
Okay.
I worked a wedding one time with Yuchan, and I don't know if he knows what happened, but the bride and groom, like at the end of the party, they're about to have Shov Brachot, and she's like, I do not want to live with you. This was at Terrace on the Park. I'm like, yo, is this a joke? And I'm like, hey, whoa, calm down.
Let me tell you something. All right. Let me tell you something.
It's like, relax. I was like, listen, this is the Yetzer Hara. This is the Satan, like trying to sabotage your day. I'm like, yo, whatever it is, please pick a different day. Don't do it right now. In my mind, I'm like, yo, first of all, I didn't get paid yet. All right, first of all. Second of all, but I'm like, oh, serious. I was like, yo, is this about to happen? And I remember I had to talk to this woman for like 25 minutes with her sister just to be able to calm her down for her to do the show brachot.
Oh my God.
I've seen it happen.
Oh my God. So what happened after? Did they
They're happily married.
Happily married?
Yeah, they just had, they had an episode like married couples usually have, but they had an episode on the first day, which is like the first episode.
The first level of Jumanji.
Dude, I've seen it happen.
So how does being an entrepreneur affect your personal and family life?
I really wish I could tell you it doesn't affect my family. I would say it affects me more in my own mind, which may affect my family. Meaning, I'm not big on like making tons of money. Like I can care less if I'm swimming in millions and how much I make in a month. I'm sure it definitely plays a role. Like the more money you make, the more leverage you have in terms of like freedom, financial freedom. But a good time or a good company, a good conversation, a good song, a good poem that you write. I know plenty of people who are filthy rich, but they're like really poor. They're so poor, all they have is money. I know people like this.
Yeah, they say no matter how much money you have, you're still gonna end up being miserable. More money, more problems.
I believe in that wholeheartedly, bro.
Do you ever feel like weddings have lost their magic because you see them so often?
I was waiting to get on the show for you to ask me these questions, and I will tell you something that maybe musicians may like, maybe musicians may not like. First of all, I think negotiating with musicians is a no-go. Whatever the musician's asking for, have some credit for them, have some respect for their craft, whatever they're charging you. Why? Especially if it's live. If you got these musicians that are just putting on a playback and just mumble rapping or just singing the same, Russian songs, and they're not singing, like, why are we paying this cat? A. B, it's overload. It's a lot of stuff going on at the weddings. You know what I'm saying? I've seen religious weddings that cost $15,000, $25,000. I'm talking about with the camera, the flowers.
That's very cheap.
And the DJ.
That's unheard of.
Dude, I promise you. I actually worked a wedding. I'm not going to lie to you. I worked a wedding a few months back, and I had a double wedding. I had one of my family members' brother's chuppah. I did the chuppah, and I said, listen, when I'm done with this chuppah, I'm going to go and honor this chatan and kala, who is a religious couple that was getting married because I knew the father-in-law. And I ended up going to this spot, and I remember I had such a good time, and I saw everybody was in unison. Everybody was truly happy for the domot and the kelim. You know what I'm saying? They were like all about them. You know how religious weddings are. It's like, they go ape shit for an hour and a half, 2 hours straight. Even doing the horror, like I get so exhausted doing those parties.
I know, it's like dancing around in circles all.
Dude, if I'm hosting those parties, I'm like, yo, dude, this is nonstop. And I'm singing it live. I have to do horror live. So I'm doing like a 40-minute horror, between all the songs live. I remember at the end when I asked the father, I was like, listen, what did you pay for a wedding like this? He goes like, honestly, it cost me like $80 a plate. It would have been $55 a plate. But I added some money because I wanted some Bahrain dishes for the people to enjoy. And I remember I told him, I was like, and how much did you end up pocketing? He goes like, honestly, we made like 20 grand. Thanks to our Bahrain guests that came, they put a hefty envelope. And I told him, I was like, yo, listen, you were supposed to give me A, B, and C. Just give me A, give B and C to the Domont. You know what I'm saying? Because I made money that night. I'm like, you know what? And I never did that before. I was like, you can keep it. I understood that like, yo, dude, you could do a really good wedding for a little bit of money. There's like so many extra stuff that is really not necessary. Would I call them out? I definitely wouldn't, because I honor these people. I honor their business. I think that their ethic is great. I think that if you can afford it, I guess do it. Money going into the garbage, dude.
In my opinion, a lot of money going away in the garbage just for 3 to 4 hours of fame. If you have the money, go for it.
This is one of my big concerns. I'll tell you one of because it's the worst thing you could do. Listen, I'm not here to claim the whole rabbinical fame, like, oh, this is bad, this is not allowed, the rabbis do this is a sur, this is mutar. It's a lot of cheddar going into the garbage. Like, the restaurant looks nice, we're gonna make this whole thing look like a different restaurant. Really? The restaurant looks gangster. It's beautiful.
They just want to stand out.
They're outdoing each other. Like, dude, I'm all for it. Listen, I worked a $30-40 million wedding. I'm not gonna say who it was. And I remember I got invited. I was very grateful to be invited to this wedding, because I would probably not see a wedding like that again, because I don't know which caliber of people throw weddings spending over $20-30 million. I worked this wedding with a group of people. Few of the performers in our community were there. I seen the creme de la creme.
Yeah, we've seen it all, you know. It's like there's nothing else out there to impress people. I mean, if it's something that you want to do, they treat this like a sport. You know, they treat it like
They're
a sport.
trying to outdo each other. Listen, I understand. Who is to say that if I had that type of money to splurge, I wouldn't splurge like that either? Hopefully, I'm not put into that test, and if I am put into that test, I hope I pass it. I wouldn't do that. For my kids, I'm not going to do them a wedding like that.
Because we've seen everything, it's nothing for us. We don't have to spend that much, even if we do get it, because we've seen it all.
And plus, you also know some of these people in the business, so you probably spend much less.
I mean, yeah, you get the hookups, yeah.
For sure. I remember when I did my second wedding. Honestly, I got taken care of by everybody. Absolutely. From Don Mikel, from the video, for the flowers, with the DJ, with the singer, like, everybody took care of me. I was very grateful. I made money on my wedding. I promise you, I made money on my wedding.
And you made a lot of great memories too. So what's the most emotional or memorable wedding you've ever performed at?
Emotional. I say the majority of the religious weddings that I work, only because if you know, you know. Some of these religious couples, they don't touch each other, they don't get physical before the wedding, and they're like, their mindset is not of the mindset of somebody like ourselves, who are probably, you know what I'm saying, we like to look at the apartment before we live in the apartment, you know what I'm saying? Yeah,
we like to test drive the car before we
they want to test drive the car, which is, listen, and I respect the fact that they hold themselves so wholesome. And I remember I saw a kid walking, he was watching his future bride walk down the chuppah, and he starts to cry. I see it all the time, you know what I'm saying, whether he's walking over there or his parents giving him a blessing. But I remember he was starting to cry. Why? Because I know that they were shomer nagia, they weren't doing anything, they were holding themselves wholesome, and he was just really, really excited and happy that this day was happening. Kind of got me teary-eyed. Second time, actually, I had a different story. My sister, when she played me, when my sister got married, I thought, you know, they give blessings at the end of the chuppah. Yeah. And I'm like, yo, my sister's gonna come up to me and be like, yo, I love you, Avi, you know? She left me hanging like a herb. I was sitting there, I was crying. I'm like, let me drive this shit so nobody sees it. You know what I'm saying? And I told her, I was like, yo, you left me hanging at your wedding. You know what I'm saying? I thought we was like, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, I'm not gonna name which one it was.
So what does music really mean to you beyond just your career? We need to go deeper. Do you believe that your music could save lives? A few of your song pieces, like for example, Chains, that we did together, that awareness of drugs, do you think it could help save lives?
I think it for sure saved a few lives, or at least was an eye-opener to a family member or the person himself who was abusing. I know this why, because when I had the Kosher Boys class, I was doing it with the youth. I had so many parents call me like, yo, you don't understand, it helped. And in my mind, I'm like, I really don't like when people gas me. People don't know that. I really don't like it. Like, I'm not cool with people like, oh, you probably like being in the light. Like that 5 minutes of fame people get when they put up a video and they get likes. I do it because I do it for myself. I want to be like, yo, listen, am I making something good over here? Is like, are people digging this or not? I'm not doing it for people, oh, I got likes everywhere. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's certain songs that are personal, very, very personal. Change was personal because I had a friend who passed away using it. Storyline of one of the kids that I know who passed away that way.
My condolences, man.
Yeah, man, it was a brutal time, but I definitely think that song helped a few people. And there's a few songs that I think that I've done, which I know that kids, funny, but I got this one kid, very special kid. I'm not going to shout out his name, but I promise you his parents know who he is, and they know who I'm talking about. If I have 100,000 views on the video, I swear to you, 99,000 views of these videos is because of this kid playing it. He'll just randomly just put on the song everywhere. His parents like, yo, dude, my son. And I'm like, yo, this is my number one fan. I was like, yo, that's my man right here. You know, I was like, my number one fan, bro. He knows my lyrics. Sometimes I'm sitting there, I'm like, yo, do you remember all that? I was like, holy crap.
Where do you see your career going in the next 5 to 10 years?
I'll be honest, Joe, I'm grateful to be where I'm at right now. I'm sure more gigs would be phenomenal. I have a full-time gig in my synagogue. I'm the chazan over there. I'm grateful for it because I do music there that I truly appreciate. It's heartfelt, and I'm doing it for God. My community loves the fact that I do it. I really make sure that the prayers are on a high level, and chazanut keeps me in check because look, I'm a human being. You know, I'm not an angel. I'm not a saint. There's things that I may say, do, think may be correct or incorrect, but being a chazan really it really helps me out, and thanks to that, like my job is grateful because I get to do the chuppah. I'm doing the Shabbat Chatan. I'm doing the Brit. Like all the stuff that I'm doing it has to do with a spiritual aspect. I'm so grateful for that.
And being in the music industry, I'm just generalizing. Do you believe that ego destroys a person's music career?
Absolutely. Absolutely. But listen, there's a big difference between confidence and being arrogant. I think when the clients book their parties, when they're speaking to somebody, like having your own price is having your own price. But when you come off a little bit of arrogant, like people notice it. Like, I don't know what makes you arrogant like that, especially if you're not a singer that sings live. You better be humble, bro, because what if we put you on a live microphone right now? You're going to sound retarded. You know what I'm saying? Let me hear you live, Poppy.
So what about these young rappers these days? Like, what do you have to say?
I got a lot of love for all of them. Every one of them. You know why? Because I understand where they're coming from. I remember when I was starting to like do hip hop or poetry and do some rap or whatever it was, I would do stuff or say stuff that I probably wasn't about, or that I probably wouldn't condone right now. Like, I'm not going to talk about lick me, kiss me, you know what I'm saying? It's not my vibe, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I appreciate them because, listen, I don't know if people take it farther than the pen, but when they sit down and they understand the wordplay of what these people are writing, it's no joke. These guys are poets. Some of them are just goofy poets, you know what I'm saying, right? Talking about bullshit. But otherwise, these guys are artists, you know, and hopefully they find the niche.
Which rapper do you mostly look up to, in general?
Rappers out there, there's plenty of rappers. If we're going to talk before, I'll tell you Big L, Nas, Jay-Z.
What about M?
Eminem, yeah. I like him. I liked him a lot. I liked him a lot more before. I loved him a lot more before.
But we all did.
But he's the GOAT. You know what I'm saying? He's definitely a GOAT.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have reached the truth or shot round. Are you ready?
Yeah, whatever.
Let's do this. Name a singer or rapper in our community that you think is overrated.
I'd never do that, bro. I'll take the shot. I'll tell you. I'm not talking no Lashon Hara about nobody. I'm sorry.
Shot it is. What will it be, Papi?
It could be whiskey, tequila, whatever you pour, whatever you drink it with me. I don't care.
I got you. Casa Noble, not sponsored.
Hope they're sending you a
Smell
Zell.
that.
Come I get high off the company. Yeah, my boy, this is a double shot.
Cheers, bro.
L'chaim. Thank you, sir.
Have you ever been romantically approached by someone at a wedding? How did you handle it?
Definitely.
Elaborate.
Community is people that we either used to date or spoke or had an episode. And that's why I think these weddings are dangerous. I'll be honest with you. I think mixed weddings are dangerous. You know what I'm saying? You run into people, thoughts play, we see each other. It's a danger zone. Gotta have to obviously handle it professionally. You know what I'm saying? Hey, what's going on? How are you?
Did you ever have the temptation?
I'm a human being. I'm sure I did. And we've been okay so far.
4 more questions left. Have you ever sang at a wedding that you thought the couple shouldn't get married or eventually got divorced?
Yeah, multiple.
Can you name them?
Damn, I gotta name them.
If you gotta listen.
Yeah, but I'm not gonna name nobody. Let's go, mate. Let's drink these shots, bruv. Hello.
All right.
Another one.
I'm glad you're joining me for these drinks, dude.
Wow.
Shit.
Look at that.
You know what they say? It's called bole murod.
Volimorod?
Ili bole urod.
Oh, buddy. Cheers.
Kham, my boy.
Have you ever ruined someone's haircut before an important event? If so, then how did he react?
I would have to say 1 or 2 times I probably did that. This is in all honesty, they didn't notice it. I was like, yo, this shit looks fire, bro.
But they didn't notice.
No, I was like, what can I, as long as you didn't notice, you happy with it? I got clients, your clients are retarded, bro. There's certain people, I have clients, I've been doing this. Anybody who worked in my shop, they know I did this. There's clients be like, yo, bro, can you do right here real quick? Right here? And I'll just take the back of the blade where there's no razor, and I go over here like this, and they're like, they're like, that's what I'm talking about. I'm like, what the loch, blade?
No, actually, a lot of barbers do this.
Dude, I swear to you, bro. There's clients who goes like, yo, can you just like bang this out, bro? I'm like, yeah.
You never told him, right? Like,
No. Listen, you know what's the difference in a good haircut and a bad haircut? A few days.
a few days.
That's it.
Have you ever had a moment when you thought, I don't want to do this anymore?
Music, never. Cutting hair, I mean, I have it every now and listen, it's an honorable job. It's an honest living, and you can make a killing. You can make south from anywhere from $100,000 to $500,000 a year cutting hair. Believe me when I tell you, you make it in cash. But you will not have a life, bro. You got to be there.
But as a barber, did you ever have, and this is a separate question, I mean, this is a truth or shot question, but have you ever had a client that was so pissed off at you at a haircut that he just threatened you and like...
Nah, bro, you're not threatening me, but nobody ever threatened me. And I never had that with my clients. I'm very soft-spoken. Like all my clients, we have like a personal relationship. Whether, I mean, listen, if you're talking about when I first started cutting hair and when it was a chop shop, cutting 30, 40, 50 people a day, there's no personal connection to these clients. Like,
what was the most heads you ever cut?
Well, I've cut like 61 people.
In one day?
In one day. It was a back to school event where a few of my barbers didn't come in.
You were by yourself?
I was by myself. You know what's funny? A lot of people, they don't believe that, but barbers who get down and we're in the barbershop busy, they'll tell you 40, 50 people a day. This is like...
What is it, 61 haircuts? That's like what? Like 10, 15 minutes a hair?
No, not even, bro. I remember there was clients that banged out in 4 or 5 minutes, 7 minutes.
Wow.
Yeah, for sure.
Wow.
What are you going to do?
That's
you got people waiting for you. You got back to school, a bunch of kids that want to, flip up their hair looking retarded.
Have you ever actually messed up a performance at a wedding and people actually noticed it?
Hopefully not. But I had a hiccup recently where my keyboard player wasn't available because they're all Hollywood now, these keyboard players. And I had to give the DJ my playback for him to be able to play the backing track for me to be able to sing on top of. And I remember when they're announcing me to be able to open up the wedding, dude, the DJ can't find the track. So I had to walk down this chuppah and play it off like everything was
Acapella?
No, I just walked through this chuppah just like, like nonchalant, like, oh, they announced my name, word.
That's the
And I'm looking at this dude, I'm like...
You done messed up, Aaron!
It's all from Hashem. Yeah, what am I going to say? I'm not mad at the dude, but I'm like, yo, it's all from Hashem.
Avi Benjamin, it was a true honor and pleasure to have you on this show.
Likewise.
We had a bunch of laughs. Very informative, and hopefully we can get you back on this show for even more deeper questions.
I'm with you. It was a pleasure to be here.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, brother.
That's it for this episode of The Raw Land. Stay tuned. Follow Avi Benjamin and his Instagram, link in the description below. Please make sure to like and subscribe, and we'll see you on the next one.